Did you know that nearly 48 million Americans get sick from foodborne illnesses each year, and over 3,000 of them die? A large portion of these cases involve seniors. According to the CDC, older adults are at much higher risk because their immune systems naturally weaken with age. But here's the truly alarming part. Many of these illnesses may begin right in your own refrigerator. That's right. The very appliance you rely on to keep food safe might actually be turning everyday items into health hazards. Recent studies reveal that storing certain foods in the fridge the wrong way can lead to food poisoning, nutrient loss, and even harmful chemical changes. Even more concerning, most people have no idea they're doing anything wrong. If you've been routinely placing certain fruits, vegetables, or common pantry staples in the fridge without thinking, you could unknowingly be putting your health at risk. And the number one food on this list is especially shocking. Not only does it lose its nutrients when chilled, but it can actually form harmful compounds. So stay with us, because what you're about to learn could protect your health or even save your life. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more helpful tips. Now, let's get started. Food number 9, potatoes. Let's start with a kitchen classic that many people refrigerate without a second thought: potatoes. But here's the shocking truth. Storing raw potatoes in the fridge can actually make them harmful to your health. When potatoes are kept in cold temperatures, the starches inside begin to convert into sugars much faster than normal. That may not sound serious, but things take a dangerous turn when those chilled potatoes are later cooked, especially at high temperatures. That sugar can react with naturally occurring amino acids to form acrylamide, a chemical compound that's been linked to cancer in animal studies and is still being studied for its effects on humans. That's not something you want on your dinner plate. It gets worse. Refrigerated potatoes often develop an unpleasant texture, grainy, mushy, or darkened. That's a sign of oxidation and nutrient loss. So instead of the hearty, delicious comfort food you expect, you get a soft, sweet mess that may be toxic when cooked. Ever noticed your roasted potatoes tasting oddly sweet or having a weird texture? Your fridge could be to blame. The solution? Store potatoes in a cool, dark, dry place, not the refrigerator. That keeps them firm, flavorful, and safe to eat. So if you've got a bag of potatoes chilling in your fridge right now, do yourself a favor and take them out before they turn into a health risk disguised as dinner. Food number 8, bread. Next up is a beloved staple in nearly every household: bread. Many people, especially seniors looking to keep food fresh longer, stash their bread in the refrigerator. But that's actually one of the worst things you can do. Why? The answer lies in a process called retrogradation. That's a scientific term for what happens when starch molecules in bread start to crystallize in cold temperatures. And it doesn't take weeks. It starts almost immediately. The result? Your soft, fluffy loaf turns dry, tough, and stale much faster than it would at room temperature. You might not notice it right away, but your toast will taste off, and sandwiches lose their appeal. And here's where it gets worse: mold. When bread loses moisture in the fridge, it creates the perfect conditions for mold growth once it's brought back to room temperature. Mold spores thrive in the dampness that forms during refrigeration and reheating. And moldy bread isn't just unappetizing, it can be dangerous. Some molds produce mycotoxins, toxic compounds that can cause serious health problems, especially for seniors with weaker immune systems. Want to make your bread last longer? Use the freezer instead. Freezing stops mold and slows staling without ruining the texture. Just slice your loaf first, and defrost as needed. But the fridge? It's a no-go zone for bread. Store it in a bread box or sealed container at room temperature for a few days, and freeze what you won't use right away. Don't let the cold ruin your loaf or your health. Food number 7, onions. You might be surprised to see onions on this list, but refrigerating them is a common mistake that can cause more problems than you think. Onions come with a natural protective skin that keeps moisture out and helps preserve their flavor and crisp texture. But once you put them in the fridge, that balance gets thrown off. The cold, humid environment causes onions, especially cut ones, to absorb moisture quickly, turning them mushy, bland, and prone to mold growth. And then there's the issue of odor transfer. Onions are pungent, releasing strong sulfur compounds. In the fridge, these compounds break down faster and can easily seep into nearby foods. Ever notice your butter or fruit smelling or tasting like onions? That's not your imagination. It's your fridge absorbing and spreading those odors. But the biggest concern might be bacterial growth. Once an onion is sliced, even if covered, it becomes a potential breeding ground for harmful bacteria. While some myths claim onions absorb toxins, which isn't scientifically true, it is true that moist, improperly stored onions can harbor microbes that pose health risks, especially for older adults. So what should you do? Whole onions should be kept in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated place, like a pantry, not the fridge. Cut onions can go in the fridge, but only if they're sealed tightly and used within a day or two. Refrigerating onions doesn't keep them fresh. It just sets you up for spoilage, lost flavor, and a fridge full of unwanted onion smells. Food number 6, tomatoes. Tomatoes might be the most misunderstood food when it comes to refrigeration. Many people assume chilling them keeps them fresh longer, but in reality, the fridge is a flavor killer for tomatoes. Here's why. Tomatoes are tropical fruits, and they don't like the cold. When stored in the refrigerator, cold temperatures interfere with their natural enzymes and halt the ripening process, which is where most of their flavor develops. The result? A tomato that's bland, watery, and mealy instead of sweet, juicy, and satisfying. Texture takes a hit too. Instead of staying firm and plump, refrigerated tomatoes become rubbery and soft, losing that crisp bite you expect from a fresh tomato. Even the nutritional value suffers. Tomatoes are a good source of vitamin C, but cold storage speeds up its breakdown, meaning you're getting less of the immune-boosting benefits. And let's not forget appearances. Cold-damaged tomatoes often wrinkle and shrivel, making them look far older than they are. So if you've ever sliced into a tomato and found it watery or flavorless, your fridge is likely to blame. Here's how to store tomatoes properly. Keep them at room temperature, out of direct sunlight. Place them stem side down to reduce moisture loss. Use overripe tomatoes quickly, or cook them instead of refrigerating. Putting tomatoes in the fridge might seem like a good idea, but in truth, it robs them of their flavor, texture, and nutritional value. Let them ripen naturally, and enjoy them the way they're meant to be. Food number 5. Garlic is often celebrated as a powerful superfood, rich in sulfur compounds like allicin, known to support immune function, reduce blood pressure, and fight inflammation. But storing garlic the wrong way, especially in the fridge, can strip away those benefits, or even make it dangerous. Whole garlic bulbs are built to last for weeks, even months at room temperature, as long as they're kept in a dry, cool, and well-ventilated space. But when you put garlic in the refrigerator, the cold and moisture throw off its natural preservation. The cloves begin to sprout prematurely, a sign that the garlic is breaking down. This not only dulls its flavor, turning it bitter and rubbery, but also reduces its health benefits. In fact, sprouted garlic loses much of its allicin content, the key compound behind its therapeutic effects. But here's the most serious risk: botulism. Garlic that's been chopped or minced and stored in oil, especially in the fridge, can become a breeding ground for Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria that causes botulism. This rare but life-threatening illness can lead to paralysis or even death. The FDA has issued warnings about this exact practice, yet many people unknowingly do it. So, how should you store garlic safely? Keep whole bulbs in a mesh bag, basket, or open container in your pantry. If you're storing chopped garlic, use it quickly and only keep it in an acidic base like vinegar or lemon juice to reduce bacterial risk. Avoid storing garlic in oil without proper safety measures. Don't let your fridge strip garlic of its health-boosting power or introduce a serious risk to your meals. Food number 4. Coffee. Yes, believe it or not, coffee makes the list, and for good reason. Whether you buy whole beans or pre-ground, coffee is extremely sensitive to moisture, light, and odors. Putting it in the fridge might seem like a smart move to preserve freshness, but it's actually one of the fastest ways to ruin its flavor and quality. Coffee is hygroscopic, meaning it acts like a sponge, absorbing moisture and smells from everything around it. In the fridge, surrounded by fruits, leftovers, and vegetables, coffee can quickly take on other aromas. The result? A cup that tastes bitter, dull, or just plain weird. But it's not just about flavor. Moisture is the real enemy. Every time you open the fridge door, the temperature shifts and condensation forms on the beans or grounds. This leads to clumping, early spoilage, and the loss of key compounds like chlorogenic acids, antioxidants that support heart and brain health. These essential oils and compounds degrade faster in cold, damp environments. Worse still, damp coffee grounds stored in non-airtight containers can even develop mold. The best way to store coffee? Keep it in an opaque, airtight container. Store it at room temperature, in a dark, cool cabinet. Avoid the fridge and freezer unless you're storing long-term unopened bags. Protect your brew. A good cup of coffee should be rich, aromatic, and energizing, not stale, sour, or compromised by fridge funk. Food number 3. Honey. This one might really surprise you. Honey, sweet, thick, golden, looks like it belongs just about anywhere, including the fridge. But here's the truth. Refrigerating honey is one of the worst things you can do to it. Why? Because honey is one of the rare foods on Earth that never spoils on its own. It naturally resists bacteria thanks to its low water content, high acidity, and powerful enzymes. But when you put it in the fridge, you interfere with all of that. Cold temperatures cause honey to crystallize quickly, turning it grainy, hard, and difficult to scoop or spread. You might think that's just a texture issue, but it goes deeper. As crystals form, they can trap air and introduce moisture into the container, especially when the jar is opened and closed repeatedly. And moisture is honey's enemy. It can lead to fermentation, giving your honey a sour taste and smell. Even worse, moisture can open the door to microbial growth, something that rarely happens in properly stored honey. Refrigeration also slows down the natural enzymes in honey, weakening its antibacterial and healing properties, the very things that make it a time-honored natural remedy. So how should you store honey? Keep it in a tightly sealed jar in a cool, dry pantry or cupboard, away from direct sunlight and heat. This keeps it smooth, flavorful, and full of its natural health-boosting power. Don't let your fridge ruin one of nature's most perfect foods. Food number 2, bananas. Bananas are one of the most popular fruits in the world, and for good reason. They're rich in potassium, easy to digest, and a go-to snack for seniors. But if you're putting bananas in the fridge, you're making a big mistake. Bananas are tropical fruits, and their internal chemistry is designed for warm environments. When you refrigerate them, especially before they're fully ripe, you interrupt the ripening process entirely. The cold shuts down the enzymes that convert starches into sugars, leaving you with hard, bland fruit that may never ripen properly. And then there's the appearance. The skin quickly turns a dull gray or black, a clear sign of cold damage. Underneath, the banana often becomes mushy in patches and can develop an unpleasant metallic flavor. But it's not just about taste or texture. Cold temperatures also degrade key antioxidants in bananas, especially dopamine and catechins, which help reduce oxidative stress and support brain health. For seniors, those nutrients are incredibly valuable. Tossing bananas in the fridge quietly robs them of those benefits. Worse still, if you refrigerate overripe bananas, the moisture that builds up inside the peel can create a perfect environment for mold growth, especially around the stem. So, what's the right way to store bananas? Keep them at room temperature, ideally hanging on a hook or placed in a fruit bowl where air can circulate. If you have too many ripe ones, peel and freeze them in a sealed container for smoothies or baking later. Just don't chill them hoping they'll last longer. You'll end up with fruit that's lost its nutrition, its texture, and its purpose. Food number 1, olive oil. At the very top of our list is olive oil, a kitchen essential known for its heart-healthy fats and anti-inflammatory properties, especially important for seniors. But storing this golden oil in the refrigerator? That's a mistake that could undo many of its benefits. When olive oil is chilled, it goes through solidification. The fatty acids begin to crystallize, turning the oil cloudy and partially solid. While this change isn't harmful in itself, the real danger comes from temperature fluctuations. Every time you take olive oil in and out of the fridge, the shift from cold to warm stresses its chemical structure. This process speeds up oxidation, which can create harmful free radicals and reduce the oil's natural antioxidants, the very compounds that make olive oil so beneficial for heart and brain health. In fact, studies suggest that temperature-stressed olive oil may contribute to increased joint inflammation and digestive discomfort, both of which are already common concerns for older adults. There's also the practical issue. Solidified oil is hard to pour, which can lead to spills or accidental overuse, adding unnecessary calories to your diet. And don't forget the flavor. Chilling olive oil causes it to lose its signature taste, those fruity, peppery notes that make it such a standout in Mediterranean cooking. So, what's the best way to store olive oil? Keep it in a dark glass bottle or stainless steel container, tucked away in a cool, dry cupboard, not near the stove or other heat sources. When stored correctly, high-quality olive oil can stay fresh for up to 2 years without losing its flavor or health benefits. Final thoughts. So there you have it, 9 foods you should never refrigerate. Rethinking how you store these everyday items can protect their flavor, preserve essential nutrients, and even reduce your risk of illness, especially as you age. Here's a quick recap of what to do instead. Keep tropical fruits like bananas and avocados at room temperature until ripe. Store potatoes and onions in a cool, dark space, not the fridge. Bread belongs at room temperature for short-term use, or in the freezer, never in the fridge. Honey thrives in the pantry, not the fridge. Coffee should be sealed tight and kept in a dark, dry cabinet. Garlic and tomatoes should be stored in well-ventilated spots to keep their texture and nutrients intact. And olive oil? Keep it cool but not cold and away from the light. Now it's your turn. Have you been refrigerating any of these foods without realizing the risks? What changes are you planning to make in your kitchen starting today? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who could use a kitchen refresh. Thanks for watching, and here's to safer, smarter food storage.